Hi guys, so while I get ready, I want to talk to you guys because I'm about to do my makeup and stuff and prepare for my videos, but I also want to make content while I'm getting ready because I want to incorporate more makeup stuff in my channel, but I also want to do commentary, and I feel like this would be a good way to start off. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do my makeup and talk about stuff. And what we're going to be talking about today is sex, self-esteem, and self-worth. And I don't know if men know this or not, but you can tell a lot from a woman by the way she carries herself sexually. You can tell if she have low self-esteem, low self-worth, just by how she is sexually. I feel like sex and women talking about sex is very taboo in our culture still, but we like to voice our opinions on social media but not do it in real life. But whatever, that's not what we're here to talk about. In our culture, I feel like the men always get to please themselves, and the woman is just there. Basically, the woman is just there to give the man pleasure. And I feel like a lot of women, especially Jamaican women, need to come out of that mindset. If you're having sex, it's supposed to be pleasurable to you also. And what I realized with a lot of Jamaican men is that they don't care about the woman. As long as they get what they're supposed to get, as far as come, ejaculate, whatever, they don't care if the woman comes or not. They don't care if the woman is enjoying it or not. And quite honestly, that's not sexy to me. That's not fun. Who wanna be with somebody that don't care if you're enjoying what they're doing? A lot of women also feel like they're just supposed to, that's all they're for, is to have sex. And quite frankly, you're much more than that. And you need to hold yourself to higher standards than that. I feel like if you don't come, then he shouldn't come. Like, I also feel like there's way too much casual sex in our culture, and men get away with it more than women do. Men still can talk about them a gallus and dabble in the gallus culture, and our people, our society, don't see anything wrong with it. And honestly, I feel like casual sex is not for women. Casual sex is for men. They can mentally deal with it. But I feel like anytime a woman steps into that realm of just having sex willy-nilly with any and everybody, then she kind of loses sight of who she is. And not only that, that can lead to a whole nother different issue as far as self-esteem, self-worth is concerned, because in our culture, men are allowed to have a high body count, while women are shamed and looked down upon if she has a higher amount of sexual partners. And yes, that's sexist, but it is what it is to me personally. That's just how our society is set up. That's just what it is, and it's gonna be a very long time before that change. So we just gotta accept it and move on. If a woman is able to just have sex with you with no attachments, more power to her. But a lot of women think they're able to do that, and that is not the case. Once you have sex with somebody, especially unprotected, they leave a part of them inside of you, especially when you're a woman. And I don't feel like it's any different with men either. I feel like once you have sex with a woman, she leaves a part of them in you, and whether or on you, whether consciously or subconsciously, it's funny to me though that in our culture, women don't like to talk about coming, and a lot of women in our culture, I realize, have a hard time climaxing, and that is in part to the fact that it takes women a lot longer to get on top of that mountaintop than it does men. That's why I love Aisha and Asa when she said equal rights and justice, not only in oral, whether you want to dabble into that, that's your business, but I feel like equal rights and justice in all facets of sex. And that's just that. Also, I think it's imperative that women have high self-esteem if they're going to high self-esteem, high self-worth if they're going to involve themselves in sex. So I feel like if you're not there yet, you need to work on yourself, work on who you are, because people will use you if they realize that you have a low self-esteem. They will use you in any which way they can, and that's just the God honest truth. I feel like if your self-esteem, self-worth is not up there, you should not be in a relationship, because that leads a lot of relationship to fail. Sometimes people enter a relationship without knowing why the hell they're in that relationship, and if they're in that relationship just for sex, and sex is a very dangerous thing. Sex can make you feel like you're in love, you're on top of the world, and then drop you on your face. Like, so it's up to you as a person to set those boundaries, set those guidelines of things that you're not gonna do, and things that you're going to do. To each their own though. This is just my personal opinion. You can beg to differ in the comment section if you feel like it, or if you had a different experience. I don't know if it's because I feel like I'm a serial monogamist. When I say that, people always look at me weird. All my relationships have been really long-term relationships, so that is why I say, and when I say long-term, I mean 3 years or more. So that's why I always say I'm a serial monogamist, and people always look at me weird, like, what's that? And I feel like nowadays, especially now, you have to be very, very careful with who you give your body to, because you never know. Never know. I'm not saying women is not supposed to love sex and they're not supposed to have sex until they have the high self-esteem in the world. I just feel like if that is going to be something you partake in, you should have very high self-esteem and know what you want in sex. If you just want sex, you just want sex. If you want a relationship, you want a relationship, and don't accept anything less. We have a tendency to accept less because we feel like we can change somebody, or we can mold them into who we want them to be. And a lot of times men stick in their ways because that's what they're comfortable with. That's what they've always had to do and get away with. So when you come along and it's like, no, if I don't come, you don't come, then put a pause on that. He's probably gonna look at you weird at first, but yeah, if you demand your equal rights and justice. And for the men, if you find a woman that is quick to have sex with you, more than likely it is a lifelong thing she has been doing that, or more she has low self-esteem. And a lot of Jamaican women I see that is very shy about sex, and they don't want to talk about what they want. They don't want to do any of that. And if you're going to have sex, you need to talk about what you want from sex, especially in a partner. Don't be shy about it. I'm trying to see if I miss anything. So let's dabble, and I'm just reading off my notes. Into more about self-esteem, and a lot of people feel like self-esteem is about how you look or how you carry yourself. Yeah, that has a part, that is a part of it, but that's not the only part. Self-esteem has a lot to do with how you think of yourself, what you think you deserve, who you are, and more. Like, for example, if a woman feels like she is not deserving of love, she is not then more than likely 9 out of 10 times she's gonna self-destruct and destroy that relationship without even knowing, without being consciously doing it. And I'm using the Too Faced and Mary Kay foundation mixed together. Without consciously knowing that she is self-destructing, and it takes a lot of self-awareness to figure out that that's what you're doing. But over time, you will get there. And definitely, this is major key. Don't base your self-esteem or self-worth after what other people feel about you, say about you, how they look at you. Because that right there is a recipe for disaster. People's opinions of you can change like the wind. So make sure you're not basing your self-worth and self-esteem on that, because that will be a total disappointment when people start changing how they look at you and how they see you. So that's another thing. Not only that, you have to love yourself, like truly love yourself. And know what you deserve and what you're not going to put up with, especially in relationship and where sex is pertained. You also need to make sure that you're validating yourself, because a lot of time we look to other people for validation. We look to other people to tell us we're doing good, or you did really awesome in this, and quite frankly 9 out of 10 times those people don't give two shits So we need to be constantly looking out for ourselves, validating yourself, and being kind to yourself. I find that with Jamaican women, I'm using the Fenty, I'm sorry if I've been looking down, the Fenty concealer in 330 and 345. I find that with Jamaican women, they tend to look down upon each other. I don't know what that's about, but that's neither here nor there. A lot of Jamaican women, I feel like, especially from our videos and our live, have gone through a lot of sexual trauma. Whether they feel like they had sex too early, or they gave their virginity to somebody that didn't deserve it, or they were raped at a young age, molested by somebody they trusted, and that is probably why sex, when it pertains to women, and pleasure in sex is also still a taboo. Also, with Jamaica being predominantly religious, they tend to teach that you need to make sure your husband is pleased and all of that, but they always seem to forget the part about the woman. So I feel like that also plays a big role. I'm not going for natural, I'm going for beat face. Okay. A lot of people are gonna say, oh my god, you're putting on so much makeup, blah 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 blah. I have content to post, and I like to look nice. I like to take my time. And we as women need to start going hard for each other, uplifting each other, teaching each other. I find that women would rather scold you until telling you that you're doing something wrong, instead of actually taking the time out and being kind and actually teaching you. I feel like Jamaican people feel like sometimes they feel like their men is the end all be all, and I understand that, completely understand that the man is the head of the household. However, the woman is still there. She's the person that is gonna keep your household and make sure everything is in order, and you need to make sure she's okay, whether sexually, emotionally, physically, all the alleys. Fenty bronzer. I've been skipping freaking highlighter, and I've been loving it. Let me see. Oh, I was talking about trauma. Like, a lot of women have gone through trauma, and that is another one of the reasons why them having great sexual experiences have been few or far in between. And as a woman, you have to deal with that. Even men, if you went through something like that, you have to deal with that internally. And I'm sure dealing with something like that is never fun. But if you want to be in a relationship, have sex, do all that other stuff, have a family, you have to address issues and stop the cycle. I am going to get a small brush. The whole wife husband thing, I know that in Jamaica, especially after a while of a Jamaican woman being with a man or living with a man for a certain amount of time, they call them a common law wife. However, I was having this discussion with one of my subscribers, big up Jody, and she was saying that she being a wife, she went through the whole process. She went through signing the papers, getting the dress, going through the ceremony. She feels like they should not be called a common law wife. If you want the title of wife, or husband, you need to go through the process, go through the red tape and all of that. And quite frankly, I feel like marriage is individual as far as beliefs are concerned. But on the other hand, a lot of people feel like marriages are just a piece of paper and for a way for the government to stay in your business and all of that. I neither agree nor disagree with any of that. Sometimes when a man don't want to commit, they'll use the excuse of marriage is just a piece of paper. Marriage is just a way for the government to stay in your business. And then they get out of fully committing. And that is the God honest truth. Well, on the other hand, I also believe it's a way for them to know exactly what you're doing and stay in your business. I don't know what color lip I'm gonna do with this look right here. So what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that somebody who is not really married should be called wife or husband? They feel like it's just a piece of paper, or it's just a way for the government to stay in your business. And like I said, men use it too as a way of not committing to a certain individual and all of that. What are your thoughts on that? Are you for it? Are you against it? Do you not care? People can call whoever they want, husband or wife, married or not. I would love to hear you guys' comments on that one. totally messed up my brows, but whatever. I'm gonna move into the lips portion. I'm gonna use my setting powder, and this is the Sephora Micro Smooth powder. This is the Sephora Made in Italy liquid lipstick. I'm gonna use the Milani Covet. Let's see how this turns out. I hope it turns out good, because if I gotta wipe this off, it's gonna be an atrocity. So yeah, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell me what you guys think about this type of video, me doing my makeup and chatting, doing commentary. Comment what you think about it in the comment section.